Megan.
And I'm Andrea.
And this is
Sit Down and Speak Up. So today we're talking about diet culture and then also health. Yeah. This is a topic that is, I mean, you and I have gone through life together.
Yeah.
Basically.
We've seen each other from awkward teenage years to motherhood, pregnancy, post-motherhood, divorce.
Yeah. And like the body has changed. Both of our bodies have changed like so much and so many times. And so I feel like this is not just an important topic for us, but this is such an important topic for everybody.
Because the whole entire internet is, and I mean like everywhere is just saturated with diet culture. This is what you need to do to lose weight, and also like body positivity.
It's a lot of mixed messages, isn't it? I'm like, I don't know how to feel about myself anymore. I don't know how to feel. Am I okay? Am I not okay? It's like Weight Watchers and Noom are telling me that I'm not okay, but then like some of these plus size clothing brands, or even like Dove. Like Dove is doing, like all of their ads are all different types of women, all different body types. She's okay. I don't know. The world is telling me different things.
We have some amazing guests
that are
about to talk to us about how much she is okay. And you are too.
So let's get to that. Dasha Guyton is the body positivity warrior of Chicago. Based out of Hyde Park, Dasha is a stylist who works with clients through her business, Windy City Wardrobe, to help people feel empowered and beautiful. She's also a feminist writer, speaker, and event creator through her group Feminist Speakeasy, all in the name of giving people safe spaces. Dasha is a shining light of positivity, not only in the body positivity movement, but for the LGBTQ community as well. If you're not following Dasha on Instagram at Windy City Wardrobe, you need to. This whole episode is really just our way of trying to convince Dasha to be our new best friend. Thank you guys so much for being with us today. We really appreciate having you. Dasha, Guyton, right? Guyton. There it is. It's okay. We kept everybody's name a little bit wrong. Dasha,
Guyton. Give it like a little like flair. Guyton.
And now I'm just thinking about the substitute teacher, the Key and Peele substitute teacher. What are you talking about? Where the girl's name is, what's her name?
He made up a bunch of his names.
Yeah.
Her name was Jacqueline, and he's like, Jay Quillen!
Yeah.
She's like,
all of the names.
A whole roster
Dasha Guyton.
Yep.
Thank you so much for being here today. We're super excited to have you. I don't know if you caught our first episode, but this was one of the ones that I was like most excited about to have you on, and because this has been such a huge topic for me personally throughout my whole life, and then especially this year. So thank you so much for being here. So we want to know a little bit about you and your mug that you picked today.
Well, I decided to pick this mug because it's full of positivity. Each little blurb reminds you of something simple you need to do, like say yes if you want to say yes, and say no if you don't want to.
So simple.
It's simple, but like we all need to remind. So it was great to bring it out with me.
What are some of the other ones now?
This mug is filled with positive energy.
Aww, I love it.
And some of them take you all the way around.
Celebrate every victory. Love it. You are loved, brave, strong, creative. Aww, that's so nice.
Right.
Love it.
That's great.
Well, thank you guys so much. Priscilla, it's really nice to have you back today. And I know this is a subject that's really close to you as well, right?
Yes, it's very close to my heart. Yeah, in my private practice work as a therapist, I really have found my niche to be where I find the most passion is to be working with females struggling with disordered eating, whether that means that they're officially diagnosed or they just struggle with their relationship with food and their bodies. So that has been something that I've worked on my whole career, and I still continue to enjoy working with that population. So I'm very excited to hear some of this today.
So I guess my question today is I obviously want to be conscious of my health, and I think that we all do.
Yeah.
But I go to the doctor, obviously the world is telling me that I'm obese, basically,
Yes.
right?
Mm-hmm.
But then I go to the doctor, I get blood work done, I get all that done. picture of health, right? Okay, so like everything is great, everything is fine. And so my question is, and as I get ads for plus size clothes all the time with plus size models, and I look at the comments, and it's almost an even mixture of, this is awesome, like so happy that this company has normal, like, or all sized bodies or whatever. And then there's 50% of the comments that say, why are you promoting obesity? That's the other 50%. And I find that interesting because obesity is like one of the number one factors that leads to health issues. Mm-hmm. So my question is, how do we be positive about ourselves? Where is the line where we're like maybe I have a problem, or like where is the like, this is a problem, this is not a problem, I need to accept myself. And so Dasha, what I love about your work is that you're just like beautiful and you're like so body positive. Like where do you stand on all this, and where do you get all your positive energy, and how do you feel about the whole, like those if you look at those comments, what do you think? What goes through your mind?
Well, I think it's one, people just want attention, and two, it's if you see something and you don't like what you see, it's easy to throw something that's popular out there. Mm-hmm. It's probably not what you wanted to say. Maybe you just don't like how that person looks, but it's not popular to say she's not pretty. Mm-hmm. It's popular to say she looks unhealthy. Mm-hmm. And so from my perspective, a lot of the times it's really what's being said.
Mm-hmm. It's I don't like that.
I just don't like, that's not what I want to look at. It's not my beauty standard, so it can't be beautiful. Mm-hmm. But those things will be attacked. So I feel like a lot of times it's hiding behind a keyboard. You know, things you wouldn't say if you were in real life.
Right.
It's just an opportunity for you to be, to be not so nice. Mm-hmm. But I don't really think that when we're talking about health and body positivity, to me, those are two separate topics.
Okay. Yep.
So I think that oftentimes people want to mix them, but I refuse to accept that. Because as you pointed out, that the weight doesn't always equate to having a health problem. Mm-hmm. Most of us realize that you can't look at someone and say they are or aren't healthy, no matter how big or small they are. Mm-hmm. So it's not something you can see. And as far as body positivity goes, and you're trying to accept your whole physical being, well, that's a whole different topic. And sometimes you're dealing with it in one way in a part of your life, and then you have a transition, and you're dealing with it another way, and that doesn't have to go hand in hand with health.
Because you can be skinny and unhealthy,
totally.
And bigger and healthy, or bigger and unhealthy, and skinny and healthy, and you can feel like shit both ways, or beautiful both ways. Yes. That's body positivity.
Exactly. And don't you find it interesting that we're not talking about health in any other way right now in the mainstream? We're not talking about mental health,
which is what we should be talking about.
We're not.
Don't worry.
That's what makes me think it's more of a thing to hide behind.
Totally.
If you're not out here, you're not advocating for health in general. Why are these people picking up on this one thing? I don't know. Maybe you have more insights that thought about it a little longer in your work.
What was the original question?
As far as like the cyberbullying aspect, like the online presence, or
I think so do those people have a point who are like, oh, you shouldn't be promoting obesity when there is a
plus size model on a mainstream website?
Yeah. But when we have so many diseases that are from obesity statistically, but I also feel like, there's a lot of women that are pushing back and saying, you know what, your doctors aren't always, like if you walk into the doctor's office and you get on the scale and they're like, you need to lose some weight before they take any other tests.
Doctors are not.
They're not always right.
From fat phobia?
Yes.
Or not.
So what do you think, like if you read through those comments, what would go through your head as somebody who works with people who have eating disorders or an unhealthy relationship with food? Or
keyboard courage, like you were saying, big thing about why people are deciding to let loose, uncensored, what they think. Immediately, their first gut reaction to looking at something that makes them feel uncomfortable. If it's a plus size woman and they're working very hard, maybe they have disordered eating and they don't want to look like that, and it's coming up on their Facebook feed, and oh God, they're having that immediate thought. I think a lot about, like what would this person say in real life? And it's just easy to get on that train of negativity when you're already these women that might be, I think about the women that do the negative comments, if they're women, sometimes a lot of times it's men as well, but let's just say it's a woman kind of going through that and typing through something negative. I'm thinking about what's going through her mind. Those thoughts are in her head about herself. So that's coming from diet culture, that's coming from messages in her life, and probably more Facebook ads that tell her she has to be really small. So it's confusing to be that woman, I think, to look at the ads and say it's okay to be a plus size woman, but you also need to be skinny. Let's be real, we all want that. So she's probably trying to find some kind of congruency, things to make sense to her, these different messages that women receive is be yourself, but not like that.
But not really. Yeah.
Yeah. So what do you think, what is diet culture doing to us?
That's a great question. I want you to answer that too. I actually was thinking about that. I was thinking about that too. I think diet culture has one message, and that is lose weight.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. That's it. That's their whole thing. And they're going to package it in a different way.
Health.
It has absolutely nothing to do with health. It has nothing to do with
nothing to do with feeling good about yourself.
Nope. It is just that. You have to be smaller.
Try the magic pill, try the magic shake, try the magic
diet,
waist
even
the waist cincher is awful hard.
Oh my God.
It's totally, all the schemes.
I am so sick of ads for, what is it,
I know what you're talking about, the slimmer, I commented on one of those.
So many of those.
You can't look at, if you look at one, then you have to look at all of them.
I know.
And so, I spend a lot of time.
Don't watch.
Right. I spend a lot of time curating my feeds. That's always my advice to people.
I do that. That's excellent advice.
How do you stay so positive, or especially over time? And I'm one of those. I think I'm sort of a unicorn in the sense that I don't get those negative comments.
Nice.
And I think it's because I don't rant on Facebook or Instagram. So, because if you ever let yourself go there, then it gives everyone else
that door.
permission.
Yeah.
And so they kind of give you what you're giving them.
Yeah.
So if they have something negative to say, they're like, oh, this isn't the place. And they go over somewhere else where they have people that will engage in the argument with them. Because if someone makes an even slightly negative comment on a post I make, then the other followers are just gonna correct them on being negative.
I like
it. As opposed to me joining.
Give a try.
It's great now that you can follow not just individual people, but you can follow hashtags.
Yeah.
So you can go, I love this movement, and it
Yeah.
inspires me, and you can just keep it coming in your feed.
Yeah.
And you can even mute people who post a lot of negative things.
Yeah.
Maybe you're your relative and you don't want to hit unfriend, but you
Absolutely. There is something to be said for taking ownership of your feeds.
Right.
You're saying curating,
Yeah.
I love this word you're using, curating, and taking ownership of what you see put before your eyes, because how often are we on our Instagram and Facebook kind of ingesting
Why
this
screen
negativity?
everything you're gonna let your children watch, but then let yourself
you're just whatever.
And
And that's a really good point. It's confusing with these messages of the skinny ads.
That's where I'm at. I'm still confused. I'm am I okay or not? Somebody tell me if I'm okay or not. Okay, this is okay.
You're okay.
Totally
But
true.
seriously,
you
it's
get to decide if you're okay.
Yeah. And you know what? That's I feel like you're absolutely right. I kind of know right now that I'm not okay. That so I've gained maybe 30 pounds in the last year and a half. Started a new job. I did Weight Watchers at my old job. I just think, I don't know. And I just did, whatever. But I do think I'm getting to the point where I'm like, you know what, I think I have an unhealthy relationship with food. But I feel like that should be disconnected from what people think of my body. But it's not. It's still not for me. That's still a big part of it, is that I'm just like, oh, this is not, like,
How you feel about your body,
You know
not
how
how.
much energy you're giving to them.
Yeah,
Calculate
tell her.
that. It's unlearning these things.
Yeah.
Because we shouldn't have
Yes.
learned them in the first place.
Yes.
Mhm.
You know, whether it was the first time your mom said, no, oh, you can't have it, you've had enough.
Mhm.
Or if it was that time, you know, all the other girls seemed to shoot up and you were left down here chunky. You know, when you're younger, these things set in so
that's
early.
So true.
Yeah.
That's true.
Yeah.
The messages are right there in the morning, in the bathroom, or looking in the mirror. You feel that age
Mhm.
of when these memories came up.
So what is, I'm sure you have to go through a ton of your clients past.
Yes.
So what do you see as the patterns with unhealthy, with people who have unhealthy feelings about their body? What do you see are some of the ways that those come up, and how do you combat those?
In adolescence, specifically, the role of the mother is very important for females. That relationship and how that mom feels about her body. That ends up being extremely important. And if a girl already struggles with the bombarding messages at school where those things are happening, and then you add the additional element of the mom criticizing herself in the mirror and the girls watching that, you have a lot more poorer prognosis for that girl to develop a healthy sense of self and body image. So my work is with families. I'm seeing a teenager, I'm like, your mom's got to be in here
Interesting.
once every 4 to 6 weeks. And that's a little unusual for some teenagers, they prefer to just do it. And obviously the teenager gets the choice whether they bring a mom in, but I always strongly urge it because of the developmental piece. Developmental psychology tells us that the boys at that age need to be watching their dad to some degree, or a male figure of some kind, to say, do you teach me how to be a man, or what does men do? They kind of have a lot of implicit messages. And then women, same age as well. They need to be bonding more with a female caregiver. And so that's, for me, I'm like, Mom, what kind of magazines are in your house? Do you have them, like the Shape magazines and, these women that have unrealistic bodies on, in their bathrooms and what is strewn around your house? And I'm like, it seems kind of innocuous, but actually she's watching how you treat those magazines and how much you ingest some of that yourself. And that's hard for the moms. I'm like,
Sure.
they don't love that. I'll tell you when I talk about that. So that's been a big thing about where when I'm looking at a teenage girl, because they're not a very big developmental stage. Of course, we have social and peer stuff, and there's things that I tell them hey, be aware of your Facebook feed and your Instagram feed. Be very aware of something called inspiration blogs.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's a big sigh of well, some of them are seeing on secret, and actually if you go to the darker corners of the internet, it gets real dark, and kind of frightening.
Disturbing.
Yes, of the lengths that girls and women go to go chase that skinny image of themselves that will bring them, healthy, wealthy, and wisdom or something. The best life, really. Their best life is what skinny will bring them. And it's and so I'm always making sure I'm what kind of things are you looking at? And some of them will tell me the truth and some of them won't, but it's just everywhere. So I think there's a little bit more of that they could find it pretty much anywhere. If they really want to find it, they're going to find it. So.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. That's interesting because I was having a rough day and I was like, you know what, I'm just going to go on Instagram and I'm going to search hashtag body positivity. And I was scrolling through and I saw some perfect, in my head, perfect Instagrammed, women that I was like, why are you hashtagging body positivity when you've got, clearly you're all filtered and touched up and whatever. But honestly, you never know, even if another woman seems perfect to you, or if you're she clearly has no body image issues, you really never know.
Well,
really
I'll bring up the time Andrea did a boudoir shoot for me once.
I did.
and we did it with one of my friends who is 5. She couldn't believe it. 5'10". I mean, she's skinny, perfect boobs. Really, she's gorgeous. I mean, she is, and she is gorgeous. She was so awkward. and her pictures seemed awkward, and she was uncomfortable because she's totally uncomfortable in her body. And I was like, and I remember Andrea being like, I thought she was going to be the one that was like more comfortable. And I said, it has nothing to do with it. It has to do with how comfortable you are in your
skin. The media wants you to believe.
Yes.
If you can't be comfortable in the bigger body you're living in, then you have to buy this thing for me.
Yeah.
And it's all about consumerism.
Absolutely. Yes.
You know, there are things that work. If you ever wonder why most of them don't work, because they can't work, or you wouldn't keep buying them.
Yes,
it's
you
true.
know,
It's a lot of money.
So you make lots and lots of money selling it, and then finally everyone talks about it, and you realize, oh, it doesn't work, and then you're on to the next magic pill or shake or whatever it is.
Yeah, I've done so many diets just this year. I've done Weight Watchers. I did this Optavia, like very strict. Like I would literally lose 15 pounds in a month and then gain it all back. Because I would be like, I'm going to have one cheat meal. And that cheat meal would turn into like a month worth of binge eating. And I'm like, you know what? This is not working.
No, because the yo-yo dieting is actually more dangerous.
Yeah. Okay. So like real talk, like I went to my doctor. I mean, I've gone to a couple. But I went to a doctor, I should say a doctor. And he gave me phentermine, which is basically an amphetamine. It's legal for weight loss. But it's basically speed. Yeah, it's addictive. So anyways, I like talked to my husband about it, and it like can cause anxiety, and I already have anxiety. And he's like, your body, your choice. But I am really concerned about you taking this. But I've seen people take it and lose so much weight, like so miraculously. And I'm like, maybe I can just do this and just get rid of all this weight. And so like, that's legit where I am. But I've decided not to take it because I'm afraid I'll have like a heart attack or something. And like, I don't know. And like, I don't need extra anxiety.
That's a legitimate fear.
Yeah, I already have panic attacks.
Yeah, you don't need to have more of those in
your
life. No.
But I mean, this is like, I think this is a point that a lot of women get to. And like, I feel like I'm a fairly rational woman, but 30 pounds later, I'm like, feel awful every day.
But this
and I'm going to a doctor.
What you're
like,
talking about
a pill.
is not about health, though.
It's
what
about
you're
weight
talking
loss.
about is about weight loss and
Totally.
body positivity and how you feel about
but
yourself.
the doctors will packages it.
Oh,
as
yeah.
health.
Yeah,
They will. Some of them.
Because they are receiving kickbacks from the drug reps who take them for lunch and send them on yachts and let them borrow their vacation homes. They'll tell you anything to keep making the money. They're not making
I think
it off of your visit.
especially complacent doctors or like I don't know. I think I like that you're being critical as a patient and critical thinking about it, but I feel for all those women that don't think about that. They had their eyes on the prize of being being skinny will make me happy and will give you the life I want.
And this is a doctor.
And they might have a nag. I should be trusting this
Clearly,
person. He's gone to medical school. He knows more than I do.
I mean,
why would he steer me wrong?
Right. I walked in there saying, I need to lose weight. Help me lose weight. He's a weight loss doctor. And so if I wasn't a more conscious person, I'd be like, oh, obviously, if this doctor is giving me these pills, then they're totally safe and this is great. But I'm not. I don't take like anything. Like I just am really weird about putting shit in my body. So obviously I looked into it. So
That's just.
So Priscilla, can you talk about like what is a healthy way to think about, and Dasha, you too, like what is a healthy way to think about your body? How do you keep that in perspective? What's a healthy relationship with food?
I was thinking about this today, and I think about it a lot with my clients. My clients ask me that question, like, well, what are we going for? What's the goal here? Because it seems like such a 180 from how I've been taught or what I think I should have done before. And it is really about, ultimately, that wonderful psychotherapy buzzword is self-care. Is that food is fuel and it is pleasure. Those are the two categories they are. And it is pleasure sometimes with what it is, or pleasure because I'm sharing it with you. And then we have fuel, which is also self-care, which is like, I haven't eaten in 6 hours. My body, I may not necessarily feel hungry, but I know I'm going to need it to be alert and to do my job or to be with my family so I can go do this next thing. It is about taking care of me. Whether it is this piece of chocolate that feels really good because I'm PMSing. Just like something in the brain that does something magical with chocolate. At least for me. So that's self-care. That is saying that my body, what I'm craving, which is such a scary word in diet culture, this craving word, it's actually okay to listen to. And more than okay, it's important, and we can trust it. And that is when you're having that continual relationship with like food. I'm taking care of myself by this meal, by this snack, by this meal with you. Whether it's fuel or pleasure, it is about taking care of me. And a weight loss question does not come to the picture.
Exactly.
Interesting.
And where you're at, that's the end result.
Yes.
I want to know where are we going.
Yeah, how are we
Okay.
Yeah, where are we going?
In reality, most people are at the beginning of that journey. And so it's like, people are like, well, how do I get over there? And it's like, well, we have to start back here.
Yeah.
Where are you right now?
Yes.
So usually what I tell people is just pick one thing, because that's what I did. Whatever body part, whatever that is that's bugging you, and just actually stop and think about it and ask yourself, why is it bothering me? What about it is bothering me?
I like that. That's good. Get curious.
Once you get more curious about it, it starts to seem really shallow that you were even caring about it. And then it kind of encourages you to let that out. So for me, I started with my legs. For whatever reason at the time, it was like, I don't like to show my legs. I always wear pants. I don't want to wear shorts. I don't want to wear anything short at all. And it was like, okay, this summer, I'm just going to do it. And so I just bought the clothes, whether I felt awkward or not. And I was like, I'm just going to do it. And by the end of the summer, I thought I was crazy because it was like, there's absolutely nothing wrong.
Because guess what? Nothing happened. You mean no stones were thrown at you?
I didn't offend anyone in my legs.
Right. It's like covered
Your
in
mirrors didn't break?
No. And it was just thing after thing. It was like my back fat. Okay, that's a hard one. So it was just literally
I like that. One step at a time. I like that.
Because it seems so
daunting.
But you're over there and you've been doing this for decades, and of course you can say that.
Right.
But when you're way back
How
here,
do you do it?
Yeah.
I mean, so
I love how to. I love that.
So a lot of this, I wasn't exposed to a lot of like pop culture and stuff growing up. We weren't allowed to like watch TV. I wasn't allowed. I wasn't allowed to like look at magazines or anything like that. No,
I didn't know that.
we didn't even have TV. I was like, what?
I never know.
Did you know? Like we had
very
we were busy
environmental.
at your house. We were busy.
We were. That's why we were so busy at my house, because we didn't have anything else to do.
So great.
That's so true.
But I never had like that. I think where I like even got any sort of influence from was from doctors' offices, like charts,
Oh,
which I never ever. I have always been taller than everyone. I've always been bigger than everyone. I've always been bigger than the boys. I have like size 11 feet and like these gigantic
You're
arms.
Amazon.
I am.
I love it.
People call me that all the time.
Wonder Woman over here. Yeah.
And it used to bug me, and then I was like, no, I am like Wonder Woman. But where do all of these charts come from? Like what? Okay.
I tell you now.
Talk to us.
I tell you.
Talk to us about the charts.
Okay, those charts, body mass index, BMI, this is when you take your kid or you, as the child, go to the doctor and they measure your weight and your height, I believe is the two things they're measuring. And those two things they put together in a little magical mathematical formula that give you a number and a range of whether you are healthy weight, overweight, or obese, or underweight. The BMI comes from... Yes. So it comes from actually not a doctor at all. Did you know that?
No.
Nope. The origins of BMI, I learned this actually at an eating disorder clinic, teaching thing I went to. And I have no idea. This should be common knowledge, so I'm very happy to share it with. It did not come up with the doctor. It actually came up by a mathematician in the 1880s. I don't know the guy's name, but he wasn't even anybody. Can you think about
how small people were?
Yes, how short people were. How it's not even the doctor measuring health or anything. Someone just came up with this formula and
and we're just like that's what germs were. And we're using.
Come on. Nothing has been
still in by that.
I know, exactly.
Everyone take a field trip to a museum and go down the streets of the the old streets. See if any of you could get into any of those clothes
why
or
has
shoes.
nothing has been updated to measure weight since then, and we're still using it. Doctors of all levels, I believe, of expertise and specialties are using the BMI.
Yeah, so
and it's
messed up.
Yes. So they don't count for things like not tallness, but bone heaviness.
Girth.
Yeah, they say you put your thumb around here, and if you can cover your thumb like I can, I have small bones here. And if you can't or something, then you have bigger bones. I don't know. I don't even know if that's a real thing. See, again, we're just guessing because there's no real science here. We have no idea. We're just doing some sort of antiquated method of measuring something that should not be used anymore.
Yeah.
There's nothing been good to replace it, so doctors just use it. So think critically about your BMI, and if your kid has a BMI that's wrong, or you have one that's going to say that they have a BMI.
Again, such a great conversation.
yes.
I don't know if everybody's noticed that we don't have our usual mugs today because,
it was one of those days.
Yep. So, cheers to one of those days and having a great night with some great people.
Yes,
So,
it was amazing.
Yeah.
All right,
We're done. In the can.